Hey everybody, good morning. It's Dee on board the famous project CIC EDEX Sport. Going faster, but not as fast as we should be going. For the eagle-eyed followers, you will have noticed that we were super slow for hours yesterday, and then overnight we didn't really push the boat. So let me explain what happened. Because we had a really good nighttime and daytime before that where we were consistently 25 to 30 knots of boat speed. We were just getting on to a low pressure system to take us through into the Southern Ocean, and we were all getting excited and ready for the south to come. The wind speed picked up and we were like, okay, we need reef 2. So we went to put reef 2 in, and we probably tried 3 or 4 times to do it properly, and we couldn't get the halyard car, where the main head sail car on the main sail goes into reef 2, there's a locking mechanism, and we couldn't get that to lock. So we tried lots of different things. In the end, Bex went up inside the mast while we were still sailing, trying to put it on, to see if there was a problem with the lock system. And we use intercom so that we can listen to each other, because it's too noisy otherwise. And we can hear her kind of like, get me down, and being knocked around every wave that came. But the end result was the issue was not on the locking system. So we knew then that the issue was on the car itself and the locking mechanism on the car, which has only one solution: that you put the main down, you take the car off, and you see what the problem is. So just as we were about to do nice fast speeds, we then had no mainsail up. We then sent Molly and Bex up the rig to take the track off, to remove the car system, so then we could take a look at it. And one of the bolts was really difficult to get out. We even had the jet boil up the rig with them, trying to heat it up to get it free. And between the two of them and a little toing and froing and off the car, and we brought it down, and it has a flipper system that goes into the rig to go on the lock, and these flippers were not firing. So then we had to try and take it apart to find out what the problem was. So we did a bit of a clean up, we took it apart, we smoothed down some burrs that we'd found, and we thought we had it all good. So that was 4 hours. And we put the mechanism back on the track, connected up, put the track back on, and we hoist back up. We check the second reef, and it's okay. So we go up to the first reef, we start sailing, we come to the angle, wind increases, and we go, okay, we want to go to the second reef again. So we're almost deja vu to where we were 6 hours before. We go to put it in the second reef, and it doesn't lock again. We try several times and we know what the problem is, so we go back and do the whole process again. Main down, track off, which is much easier now, car system off, we have a look, and it's firing, but it's difficult. So we take it all apart again, and there's an arm with a spring system underneath it, and this little arm is made of titanium, and it's a new piece that used to replace the stainless steel piece that failed. And it's just slightly, by about 1 millimetre, too long, and it's slightly bent. And because it's not dead flat, it causes a little change of alignment, which means the firing flipper doesn't go out to the same projection. So the girls see this, they work really hard, they're talking with the shore team, there's a lot of big minds put together on this. And in the meantime, Alexis and I are having a conversation of what does this consequence mean? Because we're just about to enter the Southern Ocean, and you have to make some really big decisions. If issues happen in the Southern Ocean, then you don't mind, you deal with them, because the only way out is to keep going. If issues happen before the Southern Ocean, you have to make the decision of whether you found the solution to get you through, and if it's a sensible thing to do. So of course Alexa's got a million emotions going on, and everybody, there's this cloud over the boat. because we know that everyone's thinking the same thing but nobody's saying it. We get the system working, we get it back on the track, cart, gate in, we hoist to the second reef, and we can hear the flippers and we know it goes in the lock. And our thought process is, as we go up, it will go in the lock. But if we trip it and force the flippers in, as it comes down to reduce the sail when there's more wind again, it won't fire again. And what happens with titanium is a little bit softer, it bends, and eventually it gets to the point where it breaks. So we need to find a solution of how to avoid that happening, or have a manual system to lock it in place. So we're very vulnerable in the middle of the South Atlantic with a low pressure system. We decide to hoist to the second reef, put a lot of great minds to thought behind how we're going to solve it, and sail with what we have. So we're with a J3 and 2 reefs, and last night that was pretty slow because the big winds didn't come in. But today we have the edge of the low pressure system, we have blue skies and sunshine, and when we have 25-30 knots, conditions are quite nice, and we have the perfect sail plan for when it's 35 knots and gusting above. But it's just hard when the wind speed drops to keep it going. So this is a temporary solution. We've got 1,500 miles to the corner, Cape of Good Hope, and where we need to come up with a solution to decide if we can be sensible in the Southern Ocean or not, and also how we're going to manifest that solution. So the shore team are thinking about it, we're thinking about it, there's constant conversations, but for 24 hours we've got these beautiful conditions. So we're driving and practicing, sailing the boat fast as we can, making the most of it. In 24 hours we will have slightly lighter conditions, and then we will go about and fix if we've come up with a plan, and the big decisions get made. But that's where we're at today. So I'd say that how everybody felt was this, all the things that were unsaid was hanging over everyone. So we had a very pragmatic conversation about seamanship, about issues, about little things that always go wrong with boats, and about just how hard this challenge is and why not many people have succeeded, and how we have learned so much, and can come back stronger if that's the case, or be more determined if we continue if that's the case. So I think with some good sleep, some good off watches, because we didn't have to get up for any sail changes, I think it's allowed people to process things and make the most of a good day. So we're always fighting, we're never giving up, and we always want to keep a positive outlook on things. So the game's not over yet. So you can enjoy the conditions as well. Thank you.